إله هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة والرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. He is the Allah besides whom there is no God, the all-knower of the unseen and the witnessly. He is the most gracious, the most merciful. He is Allah besides whom there is no God, the sovereign, the holy one, the giver of peace, the giver of security, the guardian, the almighty, the irresistible, the supreme. Glory be to Allah from what they associate with him. He is Allah, the creator, the inventor, the fashioner. To him belong the most beautiful names, who whatever is in the heavens and the earth, glorify him. And he is the Almighty, the All-Wise. Alhamdulillah, these verses are very important verses in the entire Holy Quran. And the sifats of Allah has been pointed out here. There are 8 sifats in these verses. And mashallah, there is no any other verses in the Holy Quran like this without involving wow. That means and. There is no wow between the sifats. There are 8 sifats continuously, but there is no wow in it. This is a wonderful verses of this Quran to be noted. Mashallah. Sadaqallahu aliyul azim. Now,
sorry to interrupt, Dr. Saab.
yes.
Your video is not available.
Yes, again. Okay, now?
Yes, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Now, see, I am getting the actually it means today's session is blanking to Janab Gufran Sahib. Now he has got an important assignment at Bangalore. He left it just midnight. He was informing us, and I've taken this session for him. Yeah, because he was taking the key performance indicators. In this regard, key performance indicators, I would like to take lesson planning. My dear teachers, brothers and sisters, it is my vast experience lesson that, and my sincere request to you all is that without preparation of the lessons, please don't take the class, but wonder what circumstances. First, prepare the lessons and have a model and a chart and everything in your mind and enter the class. Or in case due to some urgency or something, if you are not able to have a lesson planning, please don't take the class. Take the class in next session. There is no any urgency. There is nothing to mark. Take the class for revision or something else. Because nowadays students are very, very, very intelligent, and they will put the question then and there. And without the preparation, if you enter the class, yes, it will become a just laughing stock among the students. Therefore, it is my sincere request. It is my vast experience of 40 words that I am telling you. Please enter the class with preparation of lessons. Don't take the lesson without preparation. It requires a lot of tremendous work on your part to prepare the lessons. Just like for the examination purpose, if you are preparing a question paper, it will take hours together, days together, even sometimes weeks together and months together. But for the students, the answering the question paper is within 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 2 hours like that. Therefore, my dear teachers, it is my sincere request that please take your lessons with preparation, but don't take it without the preparation. Here, regarding the lesson planning, I would like to tell you that the lesson plan is the instructor's roadmap. It is a roadmap of what students need to learn and how it will be done effectively during the class time. Then you can design appropriate lesson planning and appropriate learning activities and develop the strategies to obtain the feedback from students and learning. Having a careful constructed lesson plan for each 3 hours lesson allow you to enter the classroom with more confidence and maximize your chances of having a meaningful learning experience with your students. A successful lesson plan addresses and introduces the three key performance indicators. I mean the three components. Number one is learning objectives. Number two, learning activities. Number three, assessment to check for students' understanding. Number one, learning objectives. Number two, learning activities. Number three, assessment to check for student understanding. These are the major components of the lesson planning when we have to plan for a lesson. A lesson plan, moreover, provides you with a general outline of your teaching goals, what you are going to teach, what you have to achieve in the final. And therefore, learning objectives means to accomplish them and is by no means exhaustive. A productive lesson is not one in which everything goes exactly as planned. Therefore, in which both students and instructor learn from each other. Alhamdulillah, there are 6 steps or 6 key performance indicators for preparing your lesson plan before your class starts. Number 1, identify the learning objectives. First, take your lesson, have a thorough checkup and go through it completely and find out what are the identifying the learning objectives in it. Before you plan your lesson, we will first need to identify the learning materials, learning objectives for the lesson. A learning objective describes what the learner will know or be able to do after the learning experience rather than what the learner will be exposed during these sessions, that is topics. Typically, it is written in a language that is easily understood by the students. The important factor that the language should be so easy that should not be beyond the capacity of the student. It should be easily understood by the students and clearly related to the program learning outcomes. Number 2, that plan the specific learning activities. What you have to teach, what you have to grasp from the students, you have to plan it at specific learning take, not general, specific. When planning learning activities, you should consider the types of the activities students will need to engage in. In order to develop the skills and knowledge required to demonstrate effective learning in the course. Learning activities should be directly related. It should be directly related. There is no any indirect concept to the learning objectives of the course and provide experience that will enable students to engage in practice and gain feedback on specific progress toward those objectives. My dear teachers, again, I would like to remind you here that as you plan your lesson activities, estimate how much time you will spend on each. Build in time for extended explanation or discussion, but also be prepared to move on quickly to different applications or problems and to identify strategic the check for understanding. Some questions to think about as you design the learning activities you will use are, first you have to, while you are having the learning objectives, you have to prepare for the, what are the questions, what are the design learning activities at the same time, at the concurrence, you have to prepare for it also. That is number 1, what will I do to explain the topic? How will I explain the topic to our students? In which manner? How it can correlate with other subjects? It can be taken into consideration that what will I do to explain the topic? Number 2, what will I do to illustrate the topic in a different way? How can I make the lesson understand to the students by illustrating the topics in a different way? Number 3, how can I engage the students in the topic? In what manner? In which topic? In how the things I can introduce it apart from that to engage the students in this topic? What are some relevant real life examples, analogies, or situations that can help students understand the topic? Moreover, if you here to think of the other examples, analogies, and situations, life situation, all classroom situations, all blackboard operations, that how can I make the standard to topic? What will the students need to do to help them understand the topic better? And how students also cooperate with me in making this topic understand completely. Therefore, many activities can be used to engage the learner. Here, the real tough problem for the teacher is that you have to think of more and more activities and the appropriate activities to make the learner engage. The activity types, what are the students doing, and the examples to say now are means to exhaustive list, but will help you in thinking. Just a few I am mentioning here. Learning activity, that is drilling and practicing. Drilling and practicing, that is problem. Task is presented to students where they are asked to provide the answer, maybe timed and time break. Here I would like to give one example that, for example, that if you want to introduce the structure item, not only but also, it is the more important item. It is coming in 6th, 7th, 8th English book, not only but also. To make him a standard, you have to different types. We introduce the substitution table, make use of the blackboard operations, and make the students not only but also that I am taking tea, not only but also I am taking coffee also. That like this, there are so much classroom situations, and making the classroom more engaged, the students, and put it in the chart and may explain to the students. It is more helpful. And apart from that, the lecture method also, that is convey concepts verbally. Does not mean that always you have to put substitution tables, always you have to put the lecture method better also. It will be more helpful too. For example, convey concepts verbally, often when visualized. Example, presentation of slides. It is more helpful to the students. Prepare the slides one by one and make the lesson understanding and through the lecture method. Apart from that, quiz method is also very important in drilling activity, learning activity. Exercise to assess the level of students. Understanding question can take the many form. Example, multiple choice, short structured, essay type, objective type questions. It is quiz is also giving you more knowledge to the students and more enthusiasm it will be created in the students among the class. Apart from that, students' perception. You can give a chance for the students to present themselves, oral report, where students share their research on a topic and take on the position and enroll. That is, the students can be given the topic and also be explain it. It is very, very important. This role is giving a more chance for the student to become a big citizen, to become a big orator, to become a big lecturer in future for him. The student's presentation is more important. It gives a confidence to the student. It gives a motivation to the students. Therefore, it is the students' presentation, quiz, lecture method, and drilling and practice. All these go concurrently and gives more chances for the students to prepare himself and make the topic understand well better. Apart from that, game, that is goal-oriented exercises that encourages collaboration and our competitions among students within the control virtual important simulations, replica, or representation of a real-world phenomena that enables relations. And apart from that, debate, we have a panelist and arrange for our 5 students. Let's have a discussion among themselves. It gives more chances for the developing of the vocabulary. My dear teachers, please note here that this debate and the students' presentation, all this gives the chances for the students to develop their vocabulary. Here, the important thing for any student for developing the language is more and more important is the vocabulary. Vocabulary is very important for developing the language. Without vocabulary, students cannot develop. Therefore, debates are very important. And let's have a topic. You select the panelists and give them some chances. Moreover, simulate discussions on any topic. You have discussions. Discussion here, it should be constructive discussions, not destructive decisions, not critical distractions, but constructive decisions in the positive way. And teachers should be a guide, friend, and philosopher here. Moreover, apart from that feedback, you must take the feedback from the students, what they have done it, what they have learned it, how they can become understandable, how this topic is very easy to be approached, and what are the other sources to approach the topic. And apart from that, you can, apart from if you are willing, that if you are in the position that your students can have more knowledge, even you can inspect the guest speakers. You can invite the guest speakers to elaborate more on topic. For that position, you have to refer more reference books. More reference books are important for the teachers. Not only don't depend upon the bookish knowledge of the classroom, test language. You please refer the reference book. The reference books are very, very important, particularly in today's world, when there is lot of the explosion of the technology and science. Lot of reference books are available in the NCERT. SCRT and NCRT. For your kind information, utilize NCRT tools. For example, if you take in a particular topic, the same topic you refer in the reference book and refer the same topic in the NCRT book, and you will get more knowledge yourself. And equip this knowledge to your students. Inshallah, your students will become more capacitable and more having qualification to face the competitive examinations in future if they are going to the higher classes. These are the very important key factors I would like to mention here. And moreover, that it is in related learning activities, it is very important in lesson must be aligned to the lessons learning objectives, meaningfully engaging students in active, constructive, authentic, and collaborative ways. While you are teaching the lessons, you must give the chances for the students to be more active, to be more constructive, to be more authentic and collaborative, so that your students will be engaged completely for this entire period. Their attention will not be diverted. They will have a curiosity to learn more. They will go from the known factors to unknown factors, and more useful where the students are able to take what they have learned from engaging with the activity and use it in another context or for another purpose. Moreover, plan to assess the students' understanding. Assessment, example, tests, papers, problems, sets, performance provide more opportunities for students to demonstrate and practice the knowledge and skills, particularly articulated in the learning objectives, and to instructors to offer targeted feedback that can guide for further learning. Planning for assessment, please note it, planning for assessment allows you to find out whether your students are learning or not, or whether you are dodging, or whether you are pretending. It involves making decisions about the number and type of assessment tasks that will best enable students to demonstrate learning objectives for the lesson. To point out two examples, that is example of different assessment. Here it is very easily to have it formative assessment or summative assessment. You now know well what is formative assessment and what is summative assessment. Actually, this formative assessment and in the summative assessment, only in recent years, the state board has copied it from the NCRT. That is why I am advising to for always just refer the CBSE syllabus and NCRT books and reference tools that will more helpful to go in advance to provide the knowledge to their students. The criteria and the standards that will be used to make assessment, judgments, that is rubrics, that will also be very helpful. The students' roles in the assessment process, self-assessment and peer assessment. This is very, very important for these students. They have to make self-assessment and peer assessment, how they are their friends, how they are classmates, how they are going to performing themselves. The writing of individual assessment tasks and the method by which individual task judgments will be combined into a final grade for the course. That is, information about how various tasks are to be weighted and combined into an overall grade must be provided to students. In various activities, how you are going to combine all these activities into one form and making the students, either it is a summative assessment or it may be a formative assessment, giving one grade and uplifting the students, although he may be lost in some other, but in some other subjects may come up like that, encouraging the students. This is very important for the students to have a grade and combining one grade. The provision of feedback, giving feedback to students on how to improve their learning, as well as giving feedback to instructors how to refine their teaching. This is also very, very important in the conclusion that the students should have feedback. That is what they are going to learn, what they have achieved, and what is the instructor how to refine their teaching. It is also not only helpful to the students, but also it is also helpful to the teachers also. How far their lesson is also open. Moreover, plan to sequence the lesson in an engaging and meaningful manner. That is a 9 steps process called the events of instruction, which is used for planning the sequence of your lesson using this conjunction with Bloom's stepwise technology of educational objectives, aids in designing, engaging, and meaningful. For example, gain attention, obtain the students' attention so that they will not watch and listen while the instructors present the learning content. it is the capacity of the teacher. It is the final success of the teacher to draw the attention of the students towards the teacher, focus the attention of the students towards the teacher, towards the lesson. That is, the teacher should make the lesson so interesting and so beautiful, and presentation should be so attractive. It should be like a magnet that attracting the students towards the teachers. And more, inform learners of the objectives. What we are going to learn the objectives, that is specific objectives or the general objectives. So it should be known to the students that how far they are going to grasp these objectives. Include learning objectives in lecture slides, the syllabus, and intersections for activities. Describe required performance. Point out to the students what we are going to learn from this lesson. What are the structures we are going to learn? What are the things that the new things we are going to learn from this lesson? And apart from that, stimulate and recall of prior knowledge. That is very, very important. You have to stimulate the students that what we have learned previously, you have to recall it. And this will make a motivation lesson and a step to go ahead. This is very important for recapitulation and stimulation. Help students make sense of new information by learning it to something they have already know or something they have already experienced it. That is why I'm telling you that the concept is here to proceed from the known to the unknown. That in mathematics also, you should first form the hypothesis and proceed to the theorem and corollary you can obtain. Similarly, here also, you have to present and the new contents, utilize a variety of methods, including lecture, readings, activities, projects, multimedia, and others. And also provide guidance at the same. You should not be silent spectators. Wherever the student finds the difficulty, you just guide them. That is your role here is that they are just like a friend and philosopher and guide and facilitator. That you must perform your role whenever the students feel a difficult task. Whenever he is stopping there itself, you must give some tips to come up. And practice is very, very important. Allow students to apply knowledge and skills learned. Allow students to apply knowledge in group or individual. Ask deep learning questions. Make reference to what students already know or how students collaborate with their peers. Ask students to recite. Take 1 second. Ask students to recite, revisit, or reiterate information they have learned. That is, facilitate the students' elaborations, ask the students to elaborate or explain details, and provide more complexity to their responses. And finally, provide the feedback, what you have done, what you are going to learn, and what you have learned, and how the lesson is successful, how far the successful assessment, and assess the performance to evaluate the effectiveness of the instructional events, just to see if the expected learning outcomes have been achieved. Performance should be based on previously stated subject, enhance retention and transfer. Allow students to apply information to personal context. This increases retention by personalized information. Provide opportunities for students to relate courses for work to their personal experience. Provide attention and additional practices that will be more helpful to the student. Here, my dear teachers, I would like to remind you that finally, recapitulation is very, very, very important. The recapitulation, that is, after the lesson is there should be some recapitulation. Only the recapitulation will make you the lesson understand, and you will also know how far the students learned the lesson. Just put some simple question and proceed from the known to the unknown, and you will understand how far your lesson is successful, how far the teachers or students will learn the lesson. Here, the most important is that if your recapitulation is successful, then only your lesson is successful. If the students have answered the questions at least 60–70%, your lesson is successful. If the students are unable to answer the questions and they failed in the recapitulation, that is your efforts are vain and your teaching is not successful. You have not passed on the subject, passed on the materials to students, what they've need, what they've learned, and your success of the lesson or the failure of the lesson is known to the students only by through recapitulation. But unfortunately, today's situation, there's The teachers are continuously lecturing in the class and continuously taking the class. They wanted to complete the syllabus. They wanted to complete the achieve the target for examination. As a result of which, they failed in questioning the students, recapitulation, and or otherwise recapitulation should go side by side in the class while you're teaching the students, put the questions then and there. Even if the students have answered the wrong question wrongly, you don't discourage them. You just use the tips and make them to understand, make them to bring them up. Don't discourage the students at any cost. So just appreciate them, because answering the question, understanding to answer the question itself is a highly acceptable skill among the students. Therefore, don't discourage the students when they are even they answer the wrong question. You just appreciate them and tell them that you will next time you will come up, inshallah. Like that, you can encourage this, and every big application will be, inshallah, very well be helpful. The list of learning objectives is not realistic. So narrow down your list to the 2 or 3 key concepts, ideas, or skills you want the students to learn in the classes. Your list of prioritized learning objectives will help you make decisions on the spot and adjust your lesson plan as needed. Your questioning will make you understand to go through from one point to another point or change the direction so that the students can catch your point. Estimate how much time each of the activities will take, then plan some extra time for each activity. When you prepare your lesson plan, next to each activity, indicate how much time you expect it will take. That is very important. Time factor, time management is very, very important for the lesson planning. Plan a few minutes at the end of class to answer any remaining questions and to sum up key points. Plan an extra activity or discussion question in case you have time to left. Be flexible. Be ready to adjust your lesson plan to your students' needs and focus on what seems to be more productive rather than sticking to your original plan. This is very, very important that you have to adjust to the needs of the students and not to be rigid. Be flexible in your presentation. It will give you more helpful, inshallah, and your assembly successful. Now the time is almost getting close by 7 o'clock, and Naya Jamal is waiting for that. So, Salim Bhai, sir is there?
Yes, he has joined.
Yeah, shall I hand over the session to him?
I will make him co-host.
Yeah, okay. Yes, really, my details. Let me conclude the lesson because now we are having a more eminent personality, that Maulana Sayyid Niyaz Ahmad Jamali. His qualification is BCom graduate in the year 1984 from Madras Unity, completed all-in degree from Jamalia Arabic College, Chennai, and apart from that, completed MBA in Arabic in the year 2000 from Madras University, and appointed as lecturer in Jamalia Arabic College in the year 1988. Mashallah, mashallah. Appointed as principal in Jamalia Arabic College in the year 2004, and is still serving as principal, delivering tafsir and Darse Hadith in different masajid in Chennai. Traveled to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, and Uzbekistan, and delivered speeches there, also serving as imam and khatib in a mosque in Washington, Chennai. Mashallah, we are having wonderful personality. Hazrat, we are welcoming you for this session. Ayat Ummah is organizing the sessions for the benefit for teachers, both in academic side as far as for his spiritual side. Now the topic given to you is Tamir is serious. Yeah, now I hand over the session to welcome you. Inshallah, will be benefited more from you. Yes, I'm handing over the session to you, sir. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.